Ransom from Wyoming. You are live on Truth Wanted. Ransom, what's going on?
Not a whole lot, Dan. Been too damn long. And Phil, I don't think I talked to you for like 5 years.
Well, I'm glad you're here. And of course, Wyoming is really close to Utah.
There you go.
Yeah, we get some of the Mormon. I actually live in Cheyenne now, so like I am close to the border. Well, the Colorado border, but still, it's like my entire in-laws family. My sister's in-laws are all Mormon, and I was raised by a Jehovah's Witness. I never fell into the cult, but they tried to get me.
So you never signed up then, so they can still talk to you?
Oh yeah, can they still talk to you?
I don't talk to my family.
Oh man.
Okay, but they could, right? They could talk to you.
I'm the oldest living member of my family, so I don't talk to the rest of the family that's still alive.
Unless they're ghosts. Yeah, just full circle in this show, man.
Really bringing it back. You're tying all the pieces together, Phil. I appreciate that. Doing the work for me.
Talk to us. What's going on in your world?
Well, I was watching Legend. It was either this morning or yesterday, and I was thinking to myself, God damn, these guys pulled a lot from Legend of Zelda. So I started looking at release dates, and the movie and the video game were released half a world apart, 3 months apart. And it's almost like Ridley Scott and Shigeru Miyamoto were thinking the same thing at the same time without ever talking to each other. And that got me on one of those Carl Jung Wu tangents.
Okay, like the connectivity of all of existence. You think there was some like synchronicity happening there? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, well, I don't think I kind of think so, but I'm more saying that's what it looked like.
Yeah, I feel it's in the zeitgeist. There's these themes that become popular globally, and someone makes video games about it, and someone else makes some movies about it, and that kind of goes full circle back to books of the Bible, where there were common themes and stories that were told in that part of the world that were very popular, and people would read them, and maybe you could write stories and make money as an author, and so people write what people want to see. That's why we had so many sparkly vampire movies. That's why we had so many Superman movies. We talked or not. Go ahead.
So you're saying that there would have been a catalyst before Legend or Legend of Zelda that Shigeru Miyamoto and Ridley Scott both saw the catalyst and independently had the idea to make the exact same damn thing.
Yeah, I think it's market demand. I think it's right. Like, remember like 10 years ago when every other movie was a vampire movie? That wasn't an accident. That's because of Twilight, right? Yeah. Like, I think there's always been an interest for science fiction, right? And obviously, there's a large well to draw from, but also small enough to where some commonalities are eventually going to be there, right?
And in the United States, we had in the 60s, how many cowboy movies did we have? They still make them today, Cowboys and Aliens even. But cowboy movies were the rage. And then, you had series of sci-fi movies that were the rage because someone makes big money off one movie and everybody else goes, hey, how can we make money, make something similar to that? Just like there's so many shows that you can watch on all these different streaming networks online that have shows about witches and or wizards that are just like fucking Harry Potter. And of course, one could argue that Harry Potter is like Lord of the Rings, and one could argue that Lord of the Rings is like Star Wars, and Star Wars is like Christianity. So yeah, we borrow humans. We borrow and manipulate and massage.
You're talking about a cause and events thing.
Yeah.
About one thing led to another. I'm talking about two things that happened at the same time that they couldn't have bounced off of each other due to the release.
Oh, yeah.
But if that was the only piece of information that I had, I wouldn't have bothered you with that. But do you guys remember the alien purse?
What?
I know you've gotten calls about the alien purse. That freaking
alien purse.
It's in Egypt. Yeah, it's this little bag type thing that the dude with the hawk mask is holding.
Hold on. Okay, listen. You don't know this. Kelly is still here. Kelly, so we always have a backup host. Kelly is on the case right now. I saw the look on Kelly's face. He's Googling stuff for me because, listen, I am the alien guy here at ACA, okay? I've accepted this. When it comes to alien shit, I'm the first one to hear about this. You're telling me some new info here, Ransom. What the hell is this alien purse? I have never heard of this. And also, what does this have to do with the call? I want to know about that, too.
Well, there's this, it's a dude with a hawk mask, and he's holding this bag, and it's on the Egyptian hieroglyphs, and it's in the Central American hieroglyphs. Like,
oh, okay.
You've been watching too much. What is that show? I'm not saying it's aliens, but it's aliens.
Ancient aliens.
Ancient aliens.
Yeah.
No.
If we can't explain it, it must be aliens.
Yeah. 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 I think, okay, so you know, first of all, Carl Jung, let me tell you about Carl Jung. Okay, well, no, I won't get into it. Carl Jung and his followers have been a detriment to psychoanalysis, but also to history in many ways. In particular, I mean, literature, it's great, right? You got talking about archetypes, talking about commonalities in humanity. Sure. In spiritual communities, though, like I'm talking new age woo-woo stuff, Carl Jung is like a messiah, okay? Carl Jung has really influenced a lot of people to think in ways, and I'm not blaming this on you, Ransom. I'm just saying, you know, in general, entire sub-religions have been created because of these little coincidences that happen between ancient civilizations, right? Like just because there's a picture on a wall, I am assuming of a guy with a hawk mask and a bag on one place in the world, and it's also another place in the world. You know, and again, I don't think you're making this argument, Ransom, but somebody's going to say that's aliens, and somebody's going to believe it, and somebody's going to make money off of that, right? And it drives me crazy to no end because it will always be this way. There's nothing we can do about it. But yeah, I don't know. If you're asking me, do I think there's something to it, Ransom? No, I don't think there's anything to that. I think it's just two pictures of a guy with a mask and a bag.
Well, it's how identical they are. It's not just a mask and a bag. It is like these two alien purses on both of these hieroglyphs. They look the exact friggin' same.
I just looked this up. I'm on Ancient Origins website
with a loop on it.
Yeah. And you know what? That's not a bag, dude. That's a bucket.
A bucket.
A bucket. Right. People needed buckets.
Makes sense. There you go. It's a bucket.
But do they need the hawk mask? Like, was the hawk the one in charge of the?
Well, I guess they do.
I mean, you know, hawks, birds are in South America and also in Egypt. You know, it's not. If it was like a penguin or something, that'd be kind of weird. You know, maybe there'd be something to that, but I don't know if a hawk would be too crazy, right?
Yeah.
Who
knows?
If it didn't look as similar, I mean, it looked like it was from a stencil based on how similar they were.
Yeah, I hear you.
So, do you think this is an example of a shared human consciousness, or do you think it's aliens? What's your explanation for this, Ransom?
I think aliens is more likely, but I'm not totally opposed to the shared consciousness idea.
Okay. Why do you think? I'm curious. Why do you think aliens is more likely?
Because life doesn't seem like it's that phenomenal. Like it doesn't seem. It seems like as big as the universe is, life is kind of a mundane thing to happen.
Okay. All right. So in an existential way, I could see your point, right? Like life, if life truly is the result of natural processes, right? Then it wouldn't be. It would make sense that it would happen again elsewhere in the universe. Like if you're making like that point, I can get you there. But we're talking about something a little bit more than that, which is life existed somewhere else in the universe, came to Earth on a very specific time, interacted with specific human civilizations, and then just chose to not interact with us ever again, you know, which I think is like a bit more narrow in circumstances, right?
I actually think I talked to Phil about this about 5 years ago. I think those things died off. And I have
Aliens?
an idea that okay. Humans are friggin' psychotic. All we do is break shit. Like,
so you think
we've been destroying the atmosphere for 130 years.
Yeah.
We've been polluting the water for hell knows how long.
You don't have to convince me that human beings are fucked up. I'll agree with you there, Ransom. But you think that human beings systemically committed genocide against entire alien civilization? Like the whole alien civilization came over and we killed them all? Or you think some of them came and we killed them and then they left us alone? What's the idea?
It wouldn't have to be like an entire species. It could have just been like a cruise ship that crash landed or some shit like that.
Okay.
I think we're now in the Stargate SG-1 territory here.
We're in speculative territory for sure.
Phil, that's exactly what you told me last time.
It wouldn't surprise me, because I guess your story hasn't developed much in 5 years.
Oh man,
we're talking about alien buckets showing up in petroglyphs. Yeah, but it's actually a Gucci bag. I can see the little symbol on it. It looks like a Gucci bag, I think.
No, it's a fake Gucci.
Yeah.
Ooh, you got the fake Gucci, bro. You got the fake Jordans too.
I think they should sue. And they got the fake bird heads. Well, it's all a con.
I
Go ahead, Ransom.
Just wanted to get this idea out of my head, but I'd like to thank you all for giving me something to think about, and I'll probably be calling back with something similar in about a year or so. You know, I'm regular.
Excellent.
Fine.
Good luck with that.
If I can leave you with anything, Ransom, I would really think about this. Okay, what you've decided to pitch your tent at here, this very specific idea. Aliens came, we conquered them, and then they left us alone. That has very specific implications. It's kind of like our ghost conversation earlier, right? There should be perceptible means by which we can identify that, right? Whether it's impact sites or effects on culture, effects on language, effects on just civilization in general. I would be interested to see what that would be. I think it has to be more than just this hieroglyph looks similar to this hieroglyph, right? Because to me, that's not going to be enough to convince me of that proposition. Let's figure out. I would challenge you to think about, if this hypothesis isn't true, what else would we expect to see? What else could we find that could verify this? Because if we don't see it, right? If we can't find it, then should we hold it as true? Should we continue to believe in something even if we don't have good evidence for it? That's what I would think about. You know, what were you saying, Ransom?
Well, I would think that landmarks that can only be noticed from the air would be leaning on the cusp of that. But actually, you gave me a good idea. I'm going to start hopping into some foreign languages and seeing if I can find how much similarity I can find. Because if there's just like a couple of characters that sound the same and look the same, it doesn't mean a lot to me. It's when when like languages from across the world start looking extremely similar. But
okay, before you go on that tangent though, also understand too that in the history of languages, cultures intermingle with each other in some ways, right? And so some languages change. Now I know there's weird arguments, right? There's weird exceptions to this rule where you'll find languages in one sort of isolated community and languages in another isolated community having very similar words. And I understand that, you know, people who study this stuff and are smarter than me don't always have great explanations as to why, you know, words are the way that they are. But I think that there has to be a little bit more than just, two words are the same in people's languages, therefore aliens, right? Like we really got to start getting all of our ducks in a row here before we can just find the first thing that maybe confirms our point of view and just running with that, right? I think we have to be a little bit more exhaustive in our understanding.
And try to disprove yourself.
Right.
Yeah, that's one way to do it, I would say, yeah. But anyway, I've been talking for a while here, Ransom.
Yeah, this is known as data mining. So if you look through enough artworks, you can find things that look similar. Oh, it looks like these people are all holding rakes. Yeah, maybe people all around the world invented rakes because they were freaking useful. Looking at those pictures that I found, they sure look like buckets. But you know what? Someone could have had something with a string and a bag to carry stuff, because that seems like a pretty freaking handy way to carry things around, is to have a bag. Now, if the bag had Walmart on it, I'd be impressed. But if it just looks like a bag,
good point.
Whatever. Yeah, I'm not gonna do it. But thank you, Ransom, for calling, and maybe in 5 years we can talk again.
Yeah.
All right.
I like that idea.
Later.
All right, thank you, Ransom.
Right.
Really do appreciate your call. I enjoy anybody who's honest with their takes on this, right? I will, I like it when people take me on a journey, take me into the mind of somebody else. I appreciate, Ransom being open and honest about his take. And Phil, you were also brutally honest, I would say, with yours. So